Hi, my name is Kristen, and I'm an anthropology major, and we use math in our everyday field through the use of carbon dating and radioactive decay, which tell us how old fossils are.
My name is Dana, and I'm a psychology major, and in psychology, to help people, you need to be able to understand research about different treatments, and that research involves use of math.
I'm Catherine. I'm a computer science and business major.
Keep it.
Keep it.
How did that just turn on?
I say we go with it. Just go with it.
I'm Catherine. I'm a computer science and business major, and I use math in computer science for writing programs, and if you don't do it correctly, then your program won't run. And then I also use it on the business side when you have to make sure all your numbers add up to make sure everything's correct.
My name is Matt. I'm a chemical engineering major. I use math in all of my classes, and specifically you use functions to, I guess, model or predict how some things behave. So there's a function that can predict what the temperature in a refrigerator is at any point in time. So you can use that to see how big you need to build it or how much energy you're using when it's running.
Alright, and behind us we have our first formula, y equals 2x plus 1, and it's in the y equals mx plus b format, where m is the slope of the line, which is equal to 2, and y is the b is the y-intercept, and that's equal to 1.
So behind me, right there, you have a table, and you use that to organize your values for x and y. So in the left column, you have your values for x, which is -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And the right column is y, which is blank. So the way you find those out is by plugging your x value into the equation that Kristen just described and writing down the y value in the y column. And then you use that to write the graph.
Okay, so let's run through some examples. So we'll start with -1. And you replace that for x in this equation, and 2 times -1 is -2, plus 1 is -1. Put that in the y column. Then there's 0, and replace that for x here. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. That x is 0 in the y column. And then we have 1, we'll put that in for x. And then 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3.
So now we have a graph over here, and we can use these values to plot them on this graph. So the x values are going to go on the horizontal line, and the y values are going to go on the vertical line. So the first x value we have is -1. So you're going to go to where x equals -1, and then where y equals -1. So this is where x equals -1, and this is where y equals -1. So then you want to get them where they intersect and where they meet. So then you put a point right there, right where they meet. So then you take your next x value, which is 0, and your next y value, which is 1. So you go to where x equals 0 and y equals 1. So that's going to be right there. And you put another point right there. And then you look at your last x value, which is 1. And then you look at your y value, which is 3. So then you go to where x equals 1 and where y equals 3. So x equals 1 here, and y equals 3 there. So right where they meet, you put another point.
Okay, now let's apply some of what you learned today to some examples. Start with the x value of -2. Can you figure out what the y value is? The x value is -2. Right, if you said -3, then you are correct. Let's try another one. The x value is 2. Plug it into the equation and see what you get. Alright, if you said 5, then you are correct.
So now let's plot the last 2 points that you just got. So x equals -2 and y equals -3. So over here, you go where x equals -2, so that's right over here. And you go where y equals -3, which is over here. And then you find out where they meet, and you put a point right there. And then for the last one, you have x equals 2 and y equals 5. So you go to where x equals 2, so right here, and where y equals 5, which is up here. And you find where they meet, and you put a point. So now you have a point for all of the values of x and y. So now you just finish it by drawing a line from point to point. So you go from here to this point to this point to this point to this point, and then you have your line. And that represents the function y equals 2x plus 1.
That's it for today.